Mr. President, distinguished members of the Security Council, I am honored to brief the Council on the activities of the United Nations Office for West Africa over the last 6 months. In spite of the great complexity of country-specific and cross-border issues in West Africa, UNWA continues to implement its mandate with determination and faith in the immense opportunities for sub-regional peace. West Africa continues to show a mixed picture of hope and concern. Since my last briefing to the Security Council in July, there have been improvements in West Africa in the areas of conflict prevention, recovery, and peace building. This progress is, however, threatened by insufficient guarantees and assurances for sustainable progress. UNWA has been raising attention and working in synergy with other United Nations entities in West Africa to address this situation. Our action focuses on a number of priorities, including encouraging recovery efforts in countries affected by crisis, consolidating good governance and rule of law, promoting human rights and gender mainstreaming in those countries that are stable but still at risk, and raising awareness on the imperative need for economic growth and fair distribution of wealth. Through our contacts with sub-regional organizations, the region's main stakeholders and leaders, and our partners, we are continuously raising awareness of these priorities and the importance of both addressing the prevailing causes of violent conflict and mitigating the structural causes of instability. By strengthening its political institutions and seeking better prospects for economic growth and development, West Africa should be able to improve the quality of life of the majority of its population and thereby minimize the possibility of frustration, social tension, and ultimately violence. In our collaboration with other United Nations entities in West Africa, inter-mission cooperation remains high on UNWA's agenda, and I am proud of the growing collaboration we have developed. Similarly, I am pleased with the close cooperation UNWA has been able to build with ECOWAS and the African Union in our common objective to address the daunting challenge of peace and security in the sub-region. This close collaboration has allowed our three institutions to develop a common and coherent position and strategy to address some of the region's most pressing problems, in particular, unconstitutional changes of government and other political crises. The prospects for long-term peace in West Africa will very much depend on how effective our efforts will be in sustaining progress achieved thus far, both before and following the withdrawal of the United Nations peace operations from the sub-region. The march towards democracy and the rule of law has made giant strides over the past few years. However, national institutions remain weak and unstable. In some countries, including those that are considered stable, positive trends towards consolidating democratic processes remain fragile and reversible, as evidenced by the recurrence of constitutional reviews, as we have observed in Niger, and elections-related instability, which we are trying to avoid in Togo. These challenges continue to undermine the stability of states and their institutions, and as such, must be addressed in a sustained manner. On the economic side, the prevailing vulnerability of West Africa region to external economic and financial shocks and their negative impact on the livelihood of the populations have contributed to social unrest and political violence in some countries. Increased vulnerability of the region to natural disasters, essentially those induced by climate change, is becoming a major source of conflict and violence in that it generates humanitarian emergencies and exacerbates competition for dwindling natural resources. As the Security Council and the Secretary General have stated on several occasions, the reform of the security sector remains a major condition for durable peace in West Africa. The situation in Guinea is yet another illustration where the defense and security sector is key to stabilizing the country, both because of its still predominant political role and the potentially explosive tensions prevailing within the security architecture. In Guinea and elsewhere, therefore, reform of the security sector reform has become a priority area for our conflict prevention efforts. UNOWA's SSR strategy is directed at supporting and advising ECOWAS while ensuring that the United Nations approach to SSR in West Africa is harmonized. Much remains to be done, obviously, on both aspects, but already signs of progress within the institutions are encouraging. Also encouraging are the efforts conducted at all levels towards raising awareness of the threat to peace and stability posed by drug trafficking and organized crime in West Africa, including the menace of terrorism, especially in the Sahel Band. In this regard, the ongoing efforts towards implementing the ECOWAS Regional Action Plan on drug trafficking, with the strong backing of the ODC and UNOWA, has gained momentum with the donor conference held in Vienna on 3rd December 2009. As an initial step in international support to the Regional Action Plan, the implementation of the West Africa Coast Initiative, WASI, project has been accelerated with joint assessment missions concluded in Sierra Leone and Liberia in November and December 2009. The other missions with other countries will follow this year. In parallel to the establishment of transnational crime units in the countries concerned, I wish to highlight the critical need to increase awareness of and galvanize commitment of the ECOWAS Action Plan among senior government officials in the region. UNOWA will continue to play its important role in promoting cohesion and mobilizing support at all levels, in liaison with other stakeholders, so that this initiative can achieve its ultimate goals. As the UN entity charged with monitoring and monitoring implementation of the project, of the WASI project initiative, on behalf of the UN, UNOWA will continue to seek creative and cost-efficient ways of enhancing its technical capacity in the area of drug trafficking, including by making use of inter-mission cooperation mechanisms and extra-budgetary resources. Mr. President, the prevailing situation in Guinea, which shares borders with all the United Nations peace missions in the sub-region, is an embodiment of the combined challenge of sustainability, stability, and security sector reform in West Africa. If left unaddressed, the crisis in Guinea could spill over to the region and threaten prospects for lasting peace and the significant investments and achievements made by the region and the international community in countries with United Nations peace missions in particular. This is the very reason why UNOWA has devoted considerable attention to the situation in Guinea and spared no efforts towards encouraging an early solution. Current developments in Guinea are encouraging, especially following the recent statement by the interim leader reaching out to the opposition to participate in charting a roadmap for the resolution of the political crisis. This consensual approach proposed by the interim junta leader, combined with the recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry on the 28th September violence, provide a new window of opportunity that should be seized by all stakeholders in order to put the peace and reconciliation process back on track. On its part, UNOWA is committed to continue to play its proactive role and make its contribution to the search of lasting solution to the crisis in Guinea. Mr. President, allow me to conclude my statement by expressing my appreciation for the attention the Council continues to devote to West Africa and for its continuing support to UNOWA. I thank you for your attention.